so glad you're here. And can you believe that we are now switching from Thanksgiving and immediately Christmas is like coming around the corner? And maybe you're like me, and because I get kind of overwhelmed as I realize how much I have to do before Christmas. But that's one of the reasons why I want to encourage you this month to slow down and to do the 14 verses that I think there's 12 or 14 verses that I'm going to be sharing on a scripture page, that Bible reading plan that you can do this month. And I just want to encourage you to do that with me. I've done it for the last few years, and I'm going to be sharing it again. And even if you did it with me last year or the year before, I would just encourage you to do it fresh and new this year. I will be sharing some of the same pictures that I've done before because I have an extremely busy month. But like today, I got one half done, and I will hope to be sharing that tomorrow. But I wanted to just share with you two verses from Isaiah that you have probably heard before. And if you slow down and you do like scripture writing with me this month, which is kind of going to be my focus, so that if you don't have a lot of time to journal, that you can just write out the verse, do a little tiny picture or flower or something, and share with the group. Please share it because it does encourage me. Well, I'm going to get right into the two verses I'm going to be sharing so I don't take up a lot of your time. And they are from Isaiah 9:6. And in a minute, I'm going to be explaining a little bit about the background and what this is about this very strange announcement that Isaiah gave to the people of Israel and why he did that and how it can encourage you today and how it applies to you. So, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there will be no end, upon the throne of David and over his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and justice. From that time forward, even forever, the zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. And that is from Isaiah 9:6 through 7. Two verses. And that's all. And I would encourage you to write them out. That's what I did today. I wrote them out. But I'm going to be kind of doing some of these pages over again. And then below that, I have a little prayer I wrote out to God. And I'm sorry, the paper's rattling. Anyway, and then I'm going to share with you what is so amazing about these two verses and this birth announcement that Isaiah gave. Isaiah is the one who wrote Isaiah, the book of Isaiah in the Old Testament. And it's the most amazing birth announcement of all time. And Isaiah 9 is one of chapter 9 is one of the most studied and celebrated passages of all time. And Isaiah announces the arrival of a child. And so when we had our last child, I typed up a birth announcement, and it was kind of going with the little play that my kids wrote, because our last child was born in the month that I never wanted to have, or said I never wanted to have a child born in December, because I was afraid it would be too stressful with everything going on with Christmas. And the thing is that it was the most amazing birth, because my kids had planned this little pageant with just our kids. We have 7 kids, so you can do that. Some of them were animals. And we had a Mary and Joseph that were only like little. And my oldest son was a writer of the play and the announcement. And we had a birth announcement to go with it, because Josiah, our youngest, was born the day that they planned to have it. And well, I couldn't do it. I couldn't have any. I was like, I just had a baby. And so we did it the week after, in a week, and we postponed it. And we had a little a wicker basket that we kind of used for laundry or whatever. And they put him in it, all wrapped up, and he was baby Jesus. And so it made it very special. And, well, you might have announced the birth of your baby, a baby that you had at one time, or you might be doing that this year if you're like me and having a baby in December. But Isaiah was announcing a baby that hadn't been born before, and I have never heard of that before. Have you? So Isaiah announced this baby 700 years before he was born. Now, why would he do that? Well, the Israelites, um, they were facing a threat from a superpower of Assyria, and eventually the Syrians destroyed the northern kingdom of Israel, and it led to the Jews being put into captivity. And so they were in a time that was very rough and very discouraging, kind of the way 2020 has been for us in a different way. There aren't wars and stuff like that, but it's been a very strange and upsetting year for us. And as we are starting to face 2021, it doesn't seem much better in a way. We hope it is, but like the the things are happening again, and I'm hearing of more people and knowing a few not in my area, but that have the coronavirus, and so we are concerned. And Isaiah knew that the Israelites were concerned with the things that were going on, and so he wanted to encourage them, or God wanted to encourage them. So through Isaiah, he announced the birth of a baby that was going to be a king, but they, at some point, he didn't say what point. And just because they waited 700 years for this baby doesn't mean that God couldn't have had that happen right now, or there right now in that time. It just meant that it gave them hope to look forward to a king that was going to come. And it happened to be 700 years. And in the same way, we have hope, because as things are difficult, discouraging, and upsetting, and it might upset your finances or your health or whatever the case is, or you might have to stay home more to avoid being out in public more, where you might come into contact with somebody with the virus and make you sick, or your elderly parents sick, or whatever the situation in your life. God gives us hope because he is coming back again. And we're in Isaiah's time, they were he was giving them hope of the birth of Jesus. We have that hope right now because we can get excited about the birth of Jesus with our children, our grandchildren, or just with us in putting up the trees and decorating our home to give us hope that there is Jesus coming back as our King soon, and to look for him in the clouds and to expectantly wait for Jesus, our coming Messiah, once again. And so I just wanted to give you hope in that. This is a picture I did. I never date them. I just don't. Oops, there. And this is, for unto us a child is born. It's the first verse that I did. I hold it a little bit still so you can catch it. And you know what? I don't mind. You can freeze the screen and put your notebook or typing paper up to it and trace over it. It's not original. I'm sure I got the idea from Pinterest or from somewhere like that. The one I'm doing today, I got part of it out of another Bible that had a pre-drawn, and then I added my own. So it has a cross at the top and the manger below, and Jesus will have no face, so I didn't have to get complicated with that. And in between, all I have is the names of Jesus. Do you realize you name your child like we named ours, and he is Josiah Andrew Coles. He ended up with 3 names, but basically one name. Jesus is given like 4 or 5 names, actually more, and they all mean God. They aren't names that are given to other, like Buddha doesn't have the name of Wonderful Counselor. Buddha doesn't have the name of Mighty God. So think of that. And think about how they haven't duplicated that, even if they say we should worship all these gods. That's not true. You know that. We just worship Jesus. And I want to encourage you to worship Jesus through scripture writing this month. And if you have time, do like a cross or a little manger at the bottom. And please share it with the group. And that's all. And I just want to encourage you this today to hope in Jesus, in the coming Jesus, once again, sooner than we probably even realize. So have a wonderfully blessed day.